Don't you just hate it when you run out of almond milk and you can't get any for a while? Well, stay tuned and I'll show you how to make it. Welcome back to Maxwell Bates. Today I'll be showing you how to make almond milk. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we have 71 grams of almonds. If you don't have a super powerful Vitamix or something like that, link in the description for the products I'll be using, then you might want to soak your almonds. Otherwise, you don't have to. Okay, now we have 475 grams of water, or 2 cups, and we're gonna pour the almonds in here. This is extra thick creamy almond milk. If you want, you can add more water afterwards to thin it out, because this is gonna be much thicker than what you get at the store. This is more like almond cream and an almond milk, like a really high fat dairy milk. Okay, and now we have 10 grams of vanilla extract. I generally use the extract for this because it will incorporate much easier in here because it's already liquid. And then for a sweetener, you can use sugar. I generally just use 2 pitted medjool dates. These are really sweet, but you can add more or less. If you like sweeter almond milk, add 4. Now, we're gonna put the lid on, and earmuffs aren't necessary, but they're a very good idea because the Vitamix can get quite loud. Then make sure you have the lid on and then start it up. Blend for 1 to 2 minutes on high or until homogeneous. And now, what we're doing is leaving it on a lower setting so it gets some of the bubbles out. And then this is what it looks like when it comes out. It still has bubbles in it. And now, you can store it in a big mason jar, or you can just pour it out into small mason jars and then have one for each time. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use cheesecloth, but I wouldn't recommend it because the bag might burst. You can use a nut milk bag, either a cloth one or a synthetic one. These work really well, but you have to clean them. And you get every little bit out. Or you could use the fine metal mesh sieve, which works pretty well. It's much easier to clean because you can just rinse this underneath water. So for a small amount, I just generally use a mesh sieve. But if you're gonna be making like enough for a week or 2, then I would use a milk bag, or if you're worried about getting every little bit of almond milk. Okay, so now I'm just going to pour this in here. Oh, this is the problem with a strainer. And I'm just going to let this sit and do its thing. These, if you're going to make a lot of nut milk, I would really recommend investing in one of these, maybe a smaller one. If you don't have a nut milk bag, you can always put a piece of cloth or that's wetted, or like a napkin or something, over top a sieve that might have bigger holes in it to filter it to filter it finer. Just make sure you wet it down first so you get all the paper taste out. Taste test time. It's very creamy. It works really well if you're making like a curry or something like that. I actually have a recipe, link in the video description, for a coconut curry that's really good. You can also add other things to this or thin it out to make it more like store-bought almond milk. It's very good, or you can always do the nut milk bag way of doing it. So I'm Maxwell. This is Maxwell Bates, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Like it if you liked it, because it really does help. And leave your comments down below on what your favorite thing to put almond milk on is. Check out my playlist on non-dairy milks linked below after this video. And I'll see you in the next video.